Now moving on to the environmental awareness. In the previous incidents we have discussed about what happened, the impact of the technological advancements towards the nature. So we got the concept of Greenpeace evolution asking us to develop the sustainable development and having to maintain the diversity of the globe. Moving on to the environmental movements in our nation, especially in our country. What is the major environmental movement which has attracted the entire world its attention is that the famous one is the Narmada Bachao Andolan. Narmada Bachao Andolan, in short form it's known as NBA. So this Narmada Bachao Andolan is nothing but we are going to plan to build a multi-purpose dam on the flow of the waters of river Narmada. Why we specify it as a multi-purpose dam means in 1950s to 1960s, this was the initial period when India started to emerge as an independent republic nation, where we got the first elections to be done, and the government of India was very much specified that 80 to 90% of the Indians are struck with the irrigational or the agricultural background of works. So if we develop the agricultural sector more, automatically the most of the people will get benefited. This is the main idea behind the government on initiating the 1950 to 60 period as the key in development of agriculture. In this process of journey, we got the concept of development of infrastructure for agriculture. In order to supply water for the crops or the plants, we need to store the water at a particular place. This storing of water is not only used either for supplying of agricultural purposes like supplying water for the fields, but also store the water and use it when we don't get rains. At the same time, if we get overflow of floods, we shall block the water in the store place and release only limited amount so that it does not create floods, and we can stop the flood for a moment and elevate the people from that region, remove the people from that place and send it to some other place so that the human loss could not be done. And finally, we can even generate electricity, the hydroelectricity, generation of electricity from water using the turbines. The stored water can be used to generate electricity also. In this way, we have various uses and the advantages to generate using these water resources. So the government started to plan the multi-purpose dams. In this process, we started one of the dam on the river Narmada. This is also a multi-purpose dam. As just now I told, we can supply water for the agricultural fields. We can utilize the water for drinking water purposes. We can utilize the same water to supply for fields or for irrigation or for daily needs and various other purposes of the things. And if at all we don't get the proper rains in time, we can use the stored water to supply for fields or daily needs and to stop land turning into drought prone affect region. And in case if there are any kind of floods coming in, then we can stop the floods for a certain period of time, make the people to move away from that region into the safer zones, and then make the flood effect to be reduced by storing the water for a long period of time. And at the same time, we can generate electricity also, the hydropower electricity using the stored water by using turbine machinery and all these things. Now, this is the same process adopted here. The water can be stored, huge amount of water can be stored if you build a large dam or a multi-purpose dam. This was the main key factor on building the dam on river Narmada. And the next factor is that vast tracts of land can be get irrigated. We can supply water for irrigating more and more amount of lands, and we can make the entire lands to get fertile and most output oriented agricultural products. Then we can generate electricity. As I told you, the hydroelectricity can be generated, and at the same point of time we can stop the flow of water through floods. Floods can be controlled, and it's not assured completely, but we can try to control the floods. At the same point of time, droughts cannot be touch the land because we have more amount of water stored in the form of dams, and we can release the water whenever there is less amount of rainfall coming in order to avoid these floods and droughts. And looking at this picture of development which is assured by the government at that point of time, many of them started to forget the questions or asking the questions like, what about the people, those who are living in this kind of regions? Where are you going to build the dam? Whose cost you are going to build the dam? What about the condition of the people, those who are staying here? What about the people, those who are depending on these lands which are going to be taken away from them to build the dam? What about the loss which is going to be caused for the trees, the plants, and what about the loss that is going to be caused for the animals, the biological imbalance, the lack of green revolution in that regions? What would be the effect on the environment? These all questions were left unturned initially. What happened for them? Did they answer the answers to these questions? We'll find out now.